Good morning, students. Here, today we are going to learn a new poem, Amanda. Now, if you just look at that, exclamatory mark is there, Amanda. That means, what's the meaning of that exclamatory mark? How are you going to read that? Say the name when there is exclamatory mark. It's not just Amanda, no. So, Amanda. So, maybe a little bit anger in the voice. So, this exclamatory mark is giving us that you are going to learn something what Amanda did. It's a different poem, and this poem is written by Robin Kellin. Now, let us know about the poet. Robin Kellin is an Australian children's writer, which means she wrote many books about children, and she was born in Kempsey, New South Wales in 1936. So before becoming a writer, she had several different jobs, such as working as a nurse at a bookstore and as a teaching aide, and also at a school and for disadvantaged children. Okay, so these are the professions what she did before she becoming a writer, and ultimately she wrote many books about the which children should read. So these are the some books what she has written. So you can go through that, and you can even buy some books and read those books. Okay, the list marker and the sky in the silver lace and blue unclouded weather, people might hear you, and hating Alison, Ashley, and dresses of red and gold, and then dresses of one same book again, Babington, Think Napped. Okay, so these are the books what she has written. So you can buy the books and read the books. Okay, now in this poem you will find the exclamatory mark. Why is that exclamatory mark? This is the answer. Every child feels that he or she is controlled and instructed not to do one thing or the other. You too maybe feel that your freedom is curtailed. Write down some of the things you want to do, but your parents or elders do not allow you to do. So to read the poem aloud, so this is what actually the poem is about. So a child, you want to do something else, but your parents, they want you to do something else. So when you are planning to do something, your parents will tell, no, don't do that, or why don't you do this, don't do that. So they will be telling you something else what you want to do, but they want something else. So this kind of the gap between the parent and the child, that is the poem is about. Okay, because it's very natural for the parents to guide the children. Come on, if you do this will be better for you, you will be a better person. But children feel that their freedom is curtailed, somebody is taking away your freedom. So that is the reason you feel you don't want continuous nagging or instructions from your parents, and you feel that they are nagging. So let us go to the poem. Okay, look at the poem. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hush your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. So here a parent is continuously giving instructions to Amanda. And what are those instructions? Don't bite your nails. So when you are really thinking something else, you don't even know that you are keeping your fingers in your mouth and you are biting them, right? Because of your thoughts. So parents are there to tell you that because that is not a good habit. And don't hush your shoulders. So the way you are bending them and sitting them. And then sitting lazily. So when you are sitting, even my teachers will be telling you, when you keep your hands on the desk and sitting, sit properly. So that's what even the parent also telling them. But the child, look at the way the child was taking that. Now if you observe, this one is just like a poem. This one is again in the brackets, right? Now what is there in the brackets? There is a language, Emerald Sea, where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid, drifting blissfully. So you definitely come me. That means the poem is written from the child's point of view. What the child is thinking when the parent is giving instructions. Is the child listening carefully? No. What is happening? She is there in her own world. There is a language, means very relaxed, calm, with little bit of waves. Emerald sea, green color sea. How is the sea? The sea is in green color as the shape, as the color of the emerald sea, where the sole inhabitant is me. The child is the only inhabitant there. And who is the child now? She is not Amanda. Who is she? She is a mermaid. And what is she doing? Drifting blissfully in that waves. She was going very happily. Lot of freedom. Right? So you can imagine that a girl, a mermaid, going in the sea which is green in color, where there are little bit of waves, not heavy. Now, next, Sanja, did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. Again, continuous instructions. First answer, don't do that, don't do that. Here, did you do this? Did you do that? Again, giving instructions. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you clean up your room, Amanda? And I told you to clean your shoes, polish your shoes. Did you do that, Amanda? So, look at the girl's face, continuous instructions. Definitely will not be liked by anybody. And continuously somebody is telling, did you do that? Did you do that? Did you do this work? Definitely we don't like. Look at what Amanda is feeling. I am an orphan. Orphan means a child without any parents. So that continuous nagging is making the child feel like that. I am an orphan, roaming the streets. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare foot. The silence is golden and the freedom is sweet. So what is the child thinking? She was orphan roaming on the street. Nobody is there to continuously give instructions. Do this, don't do that, nothing, free. And then what is she doing? I pattern soft dust, making some footprints on making some design on the sand with barefoot, hushed, silent. Very silently she is doing that. And what she is telling? Silence is golden, which means she is telling that silence is really as precious as gold. Silence is golden, but freedom is sweet. Naturally, children all like sweet, so she is comparing whatever she like, being silent and being freedom. Both are really very important for her. Silence is compared to the gold and freedom is compared to the sweet, which we really enjoy. Right? Do you like sweets? Yes, definitely, everybody. Now, next one. Don't eat the chocolate, Amanda. Remember, you are at me. Amanda, will you please look at me when I am speaking to you? Amanda. So, now what is happening? Again. So, you can see that stage by stage, the anger of the mother is slowly increasing. Don't eat. So, the child got frustrated and she got up from that place, maybe taking a chocolate to eat. Then immediately, she started telling, Amanda, why are you going there to eat chocolate? Remember your pimple. Acne means pimple. Don't eat that. Amanda, I'm speaking to you. I want you to look at me and listen. So, will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you? Amanda? Now again, go back to Amanda's imaginary world. First time she felt like she was a mermaid drifting on the emerald sea. Second, she felt like a child, orphan, moving all alone. And then now, what is she thinking? I am a Rapunzel. I have not cared. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Rapunzel. I think all of you know the story of Rapunzel, right? That long hair, right? So, this Rapunzel, I had not cared. She wouldn't care at all. She was there living on a tower. So, very peaceful. Nobody is there to disturb her. Whenever that the one who is taking care, that witch wanted to enter, she used to ask Amanda, she used to ask Rapunzel, keep your hair down. So from that only one window is open. From that window she used to drop the hair down, and then that witch used to catch the hair and go up to the tower. Climb the tower and go to Rapunzel. So what she is telling, there is a lot of peace because that which will be coming there now and then. Remaining time she was all alone, tranquil, very calm and peaceful. And then she really loved the life of this Rapunzel. And what is she telling? I will certainly not let my bright hair down, because with that hair she started climbing up, and even she threw the hair only to that boy to climb, and all the problems came because of that. So she told, I'm happy being all alone, but I don't want to drop my hair down there. Next one, stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So she kept her face, long face, and started sitting there. And then she started, mother was telling, now stop that sulking, Amanda. Why do you keep your face like that? As if your moods are really very bad and you are always so moody. You won't even open up and talk anything. You always be very moody. And anyone would think I nagged at you. Continuously telling, don't do that, don't do this. So people will be thinking that I am telling all these things to you. If you keep your face like that, don't keep like that. That's where the poem stopped. Right? So, what I want you to do is, for the last one, there isn't any imagination given by the poet. Okay? So, can you imagine one mermaid over, orphan child over, and now Rapunzel over? Can you think of any other character? Go into that character, imagine yourself what to be, and write 4 or 3 lines about that. Okay? Just do that work and enjoy the writing. Okay? Thank you, children. Tomorrow again I will come with the poetic devices. Okay? Thank you.